Heaven is a place of infinite bliss, a place where family can reconnect, every joy is indulged, and where suffering does not exist. Or is it? Maybe heaven isn't a place. If hell is the collapse of beliefs and the subsequent nihilism, then heaven must be a condition of stability, functionality, and trying to reach one's potential. Most great thinkers from antiquity onward have posed their ideas in the form of contrasts. Plato divided the universe into the sensual world and that of Platonic forms. Christianity is posed as the battle of good against evil. Maybe to find heaven, one must travel through hell. The idea of happiness often resembles contentment. It's tied to something arbitrary, like achieving a goal or establishing a career. It's viewed like a piece of gold that can be obtained and hoarded forever. This conception of happiness is incredibly shallow. To quote Nietzsche, to live is to suffer. To survive is to find some meaning in the suffering. For example, the Norse god Odin sacrificed himself in the pursuit of knowledge. He hung himself from the world tree Yggdrasil for 9 days and nights. He wounded himself with his spear. By learning about death, he found wisdom in life. In another story, Odin sacrificed one of his eyes to drink from the well of Erd. He gave up something of the sensual world so that he could attain a higher consciousness. He sacrificed for self-awareness, for knowledge, and for truth. Without suffering, there is nothing to give purpose to life. Say there's a casino. Every time you pull the lever on a slot machine, you win. Is it worth doing? The most valued accomplishments in life are those for which many things must be sacrificed. If you wanted to write the next great American novel, or win a Nobel Prize, if you did not sacrifice the time to earn these things, they would be meaningless. Carl Jung noted 2 types of people he saw regularly in his clinical practice. Older clients were searching for an existential meaning to their lives, while younger patients needed a goal to struggle for. As one progresses through the struggles of life, he or she must find some sense of purpose. In the book of Genesis, Adam and Eve ate the fruit of the tree of knowledge. They chose knowledge over bliss. They sacrificed eternity of unblemished beauty and contentment in exchange for the knowledge of good and evil. To know good and evil, one must know his or her potential for evil so that they may be capable of good. Adam and Eve became self-conscious, covered themselves, and disobeyed the divine order of the universe by choosing truth. Maybe that choice killed the old omniscient, all-powerful God, and made truth the highest possible virtue. Maybe they laid the foundation for man to seek his own conception of divinity in the world. Saint Anselm posed the ontological argument for the existence of God. His idea was to define God as that which nothing greater can be conceived. Maybe nothing is greater than truth. Self-awareness and the desire for truth are what separate man from the rest of the animal kingdom. If truth itself is the divine, then perhaps hell is when truth is obscured. By not knowing what is true, a person's paradigms inevitably collapse and leave them not knowing what good and evil are. If one's belief structures collapse, the vacuum allows ideologies or depression to take over. They lose sight of the meaning in their suffering. The Russian author Alexander Solzhenitsyn became a writer to refute the role ideology played in Soviet Russia. In the Gulag Archipelago, he says, "Without even knowing it ourselves, we were ransomed by the small change in copper that was left from the golden coins our great-grandfathers had expended, at a time when morality was not considered relative, and when the distinction between good and evil was simply perceived by the heart." If truth is the ultimate virtue, the pursuit of truth is the path of overcoming oneself continually. It is trying to become something more than what you are right now. Solzhenitsyn was a victim of ideology. In Soviet Russia, the truth was sacrificed for the common good. Like Adam and Eve, the Bolsheviks killed God, but they replaced the divine with the idea of the collective good. In effect, this destroyed the ideas of good and evil in the public sphere. If production didn't meet high enough demands, a certain number of supervisors would be mandated for arrest and sentenced to a minimum of 10 years in the Gulag prisons. If an intellectual questioned the iron rule of the party, they would be placed in the Siberian camps. To lose sight of truth is to lose one's grasp of good and evil. Solzhenitsyn says, "If only it were all so simple. If only there were evil people somewhere insidiously committing evil deeds. And if it were necessary only to separate them from the rest of us and destroy them. But the line dividing good and evil cuts through the heart of every human being. And who is willing to destroy a piece of his own heart? During the life of any heart, this line keeps changing place. Sometimes it is squeezed one way by exuberant evil, sometimes it shifts to allow enough space for good to flourish. One and the same human being is, at various ages, under various circumstances, a totally different human being. At times he is close to being a devil, at times to sainthood, but his name doesn't change, and to that name we ascribe the whole lot, good and evil. Socrates taught us, know thyself. He's right. To find truth, we must know ourselves. To know ourselves, we must be destroyed by something. One must face the evils brought on by desperation, to find his or her true potential for evil, to learn the real possibilities of their humanity. Not everyone can make it through. Some people stagnate and lose sight of their goals, and others succumb to meaningless suffering. To follow the path towards truth is to transcend suffering. Nietzsche is known for saying God is dead. He killed God to force people to live. The Overman was his idea for someone who walks the path towards truth. He wanted to eliminate the good and evil created by churches interpreting scriptures so that it could force humanity to reach for their potential. He wanted to kill ideology. The path to truth is that of individual thought. Just as one prescription does not cure all ailments, one philosophy does not heal all people. Nietzsche also believed in amor fati, to love one's fate. Because life can only play out one way, it makes no sense to lash out and become broken in the face of tragedy. Maybe heaven is following the path of truth and finding satisfaction in life despite suffering, a state of contentedness in the struggle to become something better than what he or she is now. Similarly, Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "How strange and ridiculous it is to be surprised at anything which happens in life." Or in the words of Jordan Peterson,
well, just think about it. Well, so what do you do in the face of that suffering? Try to reduce it. Start with yourself. What good are you? Get yourself together for Christ's sake so that when your father dies, you're not whining away in a corner and you can help plan the funeral and you can stand up solidly so that people can rely on you. That's better. Don't be a damn victim. Of course you're a victim. Jesus, obviously.
by being the creator of your own destiny, the path of truth becomes heaven. By striving to reach your potential and accepting the struggles you face, you can find a transcendental contentment. By taking responsibility, the meaning of your life comes to fruition. The Buddhists have a concept called nirvana. Nirvana is based on the alleviation of desire and consequently alleviation from suffering. Learning to accept fate but not succumbing to fatalism is heaven. And thus spoke Zarathustra. Despite being a prophet, Zarathustra had to follow his path. To become the fully embodied prophet, he had to retreat from his followers into solitude multiple times and sort himself out. He works through the chaos he is in, and by doing so becomes something more. He embodies Nietzsche's idea of the Overman.
You say, weak and miserable as I am, I can still stand up to the terrible tragedy of life and prevail. And that's good enough.
Heaven is finding a way of accepting the suffering inherent in life. In overcoming chaos and being courageous in the face of adversity, we craft a better future for ourselves. We reach so that we may overcome our limitations. We stretch to achieve our dreams. That is the human spirit.